Hi everyone, welcome to part 2 of the video where I will be discussing your summer internship strategy for the next 4 weeks. Before moving ahead, please like this video and subscribe to my channel to receive notifications whenever any new video goes out. Coming to week 5, the other 4 weeks have already been discussed. Now that your mid-review has happened and you have got sufficient suggestions and feedback to work on them, there are two kinds of scenarios possible. First thing, these suggestions could mean that your project is right on track and everything that you have been doing is what your mentor and your mentor's boss and his boss, everyone in the organization wants. But there could be another scenario wherein the mentor's boss or whoever reviewed you feels that you are not going on the right track and your project needs a course correction. So this can be, I understand, the toughest time during the summer internship, but this mid review happens for the reason that if you are going wrong, you have 1 month again to rework whatever you have done and to get your project back on track. So take the feedback of your mid review very seriously. The first thing that you should do after your mid review is sit with your mentor and discuss what happened. So, at times, your mentor is not a part of your review, it's usually taken by his boss or someone who is the head of that department. So, you have to sit with your mentor and talk to him about each of the statements that were made regarding your project and take his feedback. Now is the time for you to redesign your project and start with the course correction. Or if you are on right track, now start working and designing the solutions that you're going to present in your final review. At this stage in week 5, I'll say focus on assimilation of ideas. So every day, what I used to do was I used to reach my boss with 10 solutions, and there would be days when all 10 of them would get rejected, but that is fine because then I'll get to know what has already been done, what is not against the philosophy, what is not in favor of the philosophy of the company, and then what I am actually supposed to do. So at this time, just gather ideas, however silly, however stupid, however far-fetched you feel your ideas are, just keep making a list and keep discussing them with your mentor. It might happen that some of them which you think could be trivial might be something which the company can explore. So you never know. Now focus on uniqueness and feasibility of ideas. By feasibility, I mean that it shouldn't be something which will cause the company a fortune. It shouldn't be something which is not possible for the company to execute. It should be something which is very practical, and it should be something which is unique. Now uniqueness is very important because you are an MBA, you are hired for the purpose that you will come up with some out of the box solution for the company. So just try to be innovative, try to focus on what value add can you do to the project. The third point wherein I have mentioned that always stick with what the company philosophy stands for. So let me give an example with Bajaj Auto. As you would have definitely seen that Bajaj Auto doesn't hire any celebrity for endorsements. So this is the company, this is the philosophy which my company has been following. Similarly, there could be a pattern which your company might be following. So make sure that you do not suggest something out of the blue which will give you negative points in your final review. Now coming to week 6, get an idea of the best practices of the competition and other industries. Now right now it might seem tough as to how you're going to do it because you do not have time left, but I'll tell you how you can do it very easily. The best source of getting idea about what the competition or what other players have been doing is your batchmates. So whatever WhatsApp or Telegram group you are a part of with your batchmates, make sure that you guys help each other out. Create Google Forms, create survey links, or if you want to do a telephonic conversation also, find the people in your batch who can provide you that information and also help them out in whatever they are seeking. In this way, you will be able to get diverse information on what each of the players in the industry are doing, and also you will be able to get their objective feedback on your project. So I remember that I had 4 5 enthusiastic bike riders in my batch, and in some in the senior batch as well. So I had detailed telephonic conversations because they are also my customer segment, and this is not possible in case of the actual customers because they will not give you time on telephone. So you treat this particular resource, your friends, as and a very important source of information during a summer internship. Increase the frequency of meetings with your manager. So let's say if you had been meeting earlier on a weekly basis, once in a week, now you might have to meet alternately, or now you might have to meet daily depending on where your project is. So request your manager to give you more time, even if the physical meet is not possible. Try to have virtual conferencing, show your PPT, send your PPT, ask for feedback, because now you have to start working on your final PPT. So you will have to keep your manager in loop in whatever you have been suggesting. Whatever your work is, it will reflect on your guide, and that is why it is very important to keep him up to date, him or her, whatever the case is. In my industry, it is mostly him, me dominated. Now start the pilot by end of week 6 if it is applicable to you. You will have 2 weeks time to actually implement the idea and to see the results on a trial basis, as to maybe like do something for one shop or one dealership and see how people are responding to your idea, and include the findings of your pilot in your final presentation. Coming to week 7, now is the time when you start rejecting the ideas. And the idea should be able to go through the three times why is what I call it. So if you're able to answer first why, keep the idea, second why, keep the idea, third why, if not satisfied and the idea is rejected, if the idea is surpassing the third why also, then that is going on your PPT. So ask the question, let's say you have idea X, why it is required, and if you're able to answer all three whys, include that in your presentation. And I'm sure that your manager will also agree to the systematic approach that you're following. So let me give you an example. If let's say I'm saying that store audit or shop audit is what I am suggesting. Now, ma'am, like ask yourself, why is store audit required? To see that whatever policies I am making, let's say if I want to design the store in a certain way, I have certain guidelines on that. If the dealership or the shop is following that guideline or not. Now, why is he or her not following that guideline? So the answer for this could be because he or she is having some budget issues, lack of money because of COVID or whatever. Now, why he or she is having that monetary constraint? Then the answer comes because sales have fallen because of COVID, and the shopkeeper doesn't want to invest in the additional branding that you were suggesting. Now, if all the three whys are satisfied, your your suggestion should in a way be refined or modified to focus on how that particular sale or retail of the shop can be improved, and then how can store audit then be implemented. So now the first focus of your suggestion is focusing on giving or creating streams of revenue for the dealership, and then you will recommend or suggest store audit to the shop. So the three layers of why will always help you in prioritizing what should be your first solution and then what should follow after that. Start tracking the results of the pilot. So whatever metrics you have kept in mind, see if if you require a boost or if the experiment is going fine. Take feedback from the dealership, take feedback from the shopkeeper, whoever your key stakeholder is, and keep noting the observations. Now start reading your the review presentation, there will be multiple nomenclatures that you will be doing. Final PPT, then you will edit that. It will become final, then you will edit that. It will become super final, final 2.0, 3.0. All these revisions are bound to happen because you will have these many meetings with your mentor, and he or she will suggest you a lot of things, a lot of changes to be made, and then you will be creating multiple rounds of presentation. So be prepared to go through that level of rework that you're required to do on presentation. Some companies like a lot of data on the PPT. Some people like a lot of text. Some like very minimalistic kind of presentations. So always show your PPT to your mentor and keep taking feedback and editing it. Now innovate. So this is something which I did. Instead of simply saying that 10% people said this word, 20% people said this thing, I created a word cloud. So word cloud will automatically create a group of words. The larger the size of the word, that means the more the number of people who have used that, and the smaller the size of the word, that means the lesser people have used that word. So if there are some keywords that you're looking at, so in my case it was how people responded to the ad. So there were certain words which are quite repetitive, so the word cloud highlighted those words, and it didn't have to add any boring table in the presentation. If you're doing some mapping of sale and country, sale and cities, let's say, so why don't you create a map here? Why are you just putting a table? Be innovative, use a map, use some bars or some colors or grading to highlight the sale. Let's say if the sale is more in one, then use green bar. If the sale is less in some city, then use red bar. And depending on, just innovate. Reduce text, don't make it very text intensive. Explain there whatever you plan to explain, and use animation smartly. So every HR will tell you that you have to wrap up your presentation in 15 slides or 20 slides. But what if your content is going to more than that? And there is a way wherein you can overlap your two slides by using animations. There is a video on my channel where I have shown how you can do this. The video is titled How to Make a PowerPoint Presentation for Internships. So make sure you check that out. You can also click at the eye pop up at the top of the screen and you will find the link. Now, what should you do in week 8? The PPT should be ready by now. You should have made all the changes that your boss has said, and everything should be ready. All your proofs of research, so whether it was like you went somewhere, so the photographs of that place. If it was a telephonic conversation, maybe if you talk to 50 people, have 2 3 recordings embedded in the slides. And these can be added to annexures. And ask your HR if if the limit is on number of slides. Let's say if you have to make 20 slides only, then can you add annexures beyond that? Clear everything beforehand, because you might have to refer these in-depth data or images whenever you were asked any questions. So keep everything ready and properly documented. Take help from friends. Now, so this is something which I did. 2 days before my review, I had my presentation ready, and I asked my friends, not from the same company, but my friends who are working in interning in other companies, to ask me as many questions as they want, because they are someone who are not aware of what my company is doing. They're not aware of what my project is, and I'll see how much I'm able to answer those questions. So there could be very concept based questions, there could be very hi-fi questions, but if I'm able to answer them, that means that I'm 100% ready for my final review. So take help from your friends, make them go through your presentation, seek ideas, seek if there is something which you're not able to understand or which needs more explanation, and work accordingly. Time your presentation, like this one is very important. If your HR has said that you have to finish the review in 15 minutes followed by 5 minutes of Q&A or whatever, make sure that you are able to wrap up your entire presentation in those 15 minutes. If it is exceeding, if you feel that the scope of the project is too much that you're not able to cover, cut down on the not so important parts. Cut down on, let's say, talking about the numbers. Focus on the insights, focus on the solutions that you're going to recommend. Whatever the, whatever initial discussion, if you're including in your presentation as to what the scenario is currently, what the ad was about, what your project was about, your deliverables, you can skip these parts because the person would have already been aware of what your project is. Come directly to the solutions that you're presenting and whatever your recommendations are. Stand out in the presentation. Now there are certain ways in which you cannot sound boring. So just imagine the person who is taking your review might have to go through presentations of all the interns who are there in the department. So make it interesting for them. Do not start by the usual introduction. This is my project. This is me. I'm going to present. Blah blah blah. Be innovative. I have a full video on the 5-6 techniques which I have discussed as to how you can start your presentation in an innovative way. You can find that video by clicking on the eye pop-up at the top of the screen. Also take help of visuals and something innovative. So let's say if you're recommending a solution, why not create a small video clip out of it and play that instead of just talking about or maybe writing text about this is what you're going to do. As much as possible, make sure that you are doing every effort you can to be remembered after the review and to stand out from other interns. There are various tools which you can use, like Powtoons can be used to create videos. Then there are other free websites also which give you copyright free materials. You can simply Google and find those. They are very easy to make. The templates are already there. Just fill in your content, fill in whatever you want to, how you want to show the information, and then that is done. So these are the list of videos. The first video, which is on how to prepare for summer internships, will have all the tools that I'm talking about. So make sure you check that out. And then there are other videos also, the links to which you will find in the comment section. So that was it for this video, guys. Make sure you watch the part 1 of the video as well, when I have talked about the first 4 weeks of the internship. If you have any feedback about the video, you can mention that in the comment section. If you have any questions about me, do mention that in the comment section. All the best for your final review, and I'm sure you're going to rock it.